We are the new blues revolution. On your mind, 'cause lately I didn't miss you.
Joanne Sosa, Master of Ceremonies and Communications Director for the New Blues Festival. We're here with Gary Wagner, the famous Wagman, with K-Jazz 88.1. Gary.
Is whatever happens, happens. You know? Yeah. I'm lucky that I learned how to do radio the way I did, because radio is not done like this anymore, anywhere. That nobody, when you listen to the radio, most of the time, there's nobody there. You're listening to something that was pre-recorded, you know, or if not pre-recorded, it was. There's a playlist that the person who's playing the music was given from the corporate bigwigs. Said, "This is what you're going to play today." You know, they have no input. I have 100% control over what I play, and that's very rare today in radio. Very rare.
There you go. This is very organic.
So I am blessed in that
Absolutely.
way.
Yes.
And what I want to do is for people who support my program with a donation to K-Jazz, I want to give them something that's priceless in return. And so I work pretty hard to do the best show I can for that reason. I want people to listen to this show. I want it to be popular. I want people to enjoy it. Enjoy this music. And so that's one of the reasons that I have structured it the way I have, where I play local artists, you know, in my indie hour. I play live blues. I play old, you know, what I call scratchy record blues, you know, and I try to play a lot of female blues artists, just trying to keep everything well-rounded and well represented, and a lot of it's just dumb luck. I pick out a song, you know, oh, this might work, but I like to play songs that fit together, and a lot of times you'll hear a song starting that's in the same key as a song that just finished. Well, I'm not consciously doing that. I'm not saying, okay, well, that's the key of C, so let's find another one in the key of C.
You're channeling it.
I'm just saying, no, that sounds good. That sounds about right. I think that'll work. And then I just play it. So it's one of those things that I'm blessed. I have to say, I've never thought of myself as being particularly good at what I do, but other people seem to think I am, and so there you have it.
Well, that's all your fan base throughout these generations. So I don't think they're wrong. But I do want to ask you, what do you do in your downtime? What's your hobby? I know you have these lovely dachshunds. You were telling us about your wonderful dogs that are.
Mostly, I sit around on my ass and drink beer.
Research.
Okay, there you have it, folks.
And now I'm starting to write songs in my spare time.
Well, there you go.
Wonderful.
Writing
And
songs.
I've written 2 songs that have already been recorded by Arthur Adams. Haven't come out yet. I wrote a song that Guitar Shorty has recorded. I wrote a song that the band The Other Mules has recorded. In fact, they just sent me a copy of it today.
Yep.
Gary, if you could take this music someplace in the world that it hasn't been or it needs to be, where would that be?
Into mainstream American living rooms, because mainstream America has not embraced its own music the way the rest of the world has. And so, for example, in this country, blues is not considered a radio format at all. It's just not there. You know, you've got radio formats. You got smooth jazz, you got classic rock, you know, you got talk radio. You know, it's all pretty well segmented out, and blues isn't included. And I think that's a shame for the most important music in America to not be listened to by more Americans.
Are there any other blues disc jockeys in the greater Los Angeles area?
Oh yeah.
Who do you listen to?
My favorite thing to listen to, unless I'm working, when I'm working, I listen to music. And so when I'm not working, I don't want to listen to music.
Understood.
My favorite thing to listen to when I'm not working is silence.
Silence.
I love silence. And really, I've been in radio I've been wearing headphones turned up too loud for so long. My ears ring constantly. All the time, my ears are ringing. So even when I'm listening to silence, I've still got music in my ears. It's not necessarily melodic, but it's ringing.
White noise, that white noise. Huh?
I hope it's not. Yeah, it's that high pitched squeal.
Yeah. So, I like a lot of different music. Actually, I listen to things like Anushka Shankar. I even occasionally listen to a little bit of country, some Willie Nelson or something like that. And I like rock and roll. Rock and roll was the that was the stuff upon which I was established. That's what I did. I played rock and roll on the radio. And of course the blues had a baby, and so it's all connected. And so it wasn't that difficult for me to switch that into doing blues. But actually, for a while, when the very first couple of months that I started here, they had somebody coming in to help me pick the music because I wasn't that familiar with blues. And after a couple of months, I said, "You guys get out of here. I don't like what you're picking. I got my own ideas now." So it didn't take that long.
Didn't take long. So let me ask a follow-up question to the earlier one about the festival. And so when you came on board at K-Jazz the year 91, was it?
Yeah, what happened was they asked me if I was interested in doing the show, and I told them no. They said, "Well, would you at least come in and make a tape, because we'd like to hear what you sound." I came in and I made a tape. They said, "What? What's the problem? Why don't you want to be on the radio, man? You're great." I said, "Well, I'm not that comfortable with the music." So they found a way to. So they said, "Look, would you at least do the show? If we brought somebody in to help you with the music, would you do the show until we can find somebody permanent to do the show?"
All right.
So I was the DJ du jour for a couple of months.
The interim. And
Yeah.
then when you got rid of the research assistants and you dove in because you were there.
Now I was liking it, and then they hired somebody else to do it full time.
Oh, no.
And his name was Norman. I don't know if you remember Norman, but he was here. He only lasted about 9 months. He was from Boise, Idaho, and he came down here from Boise in his beat up car, and he lived in the car because he didn't have any other work here except for Saturdays and Sundays, and public radio isn't exactly the place to go if you want to make a lot of money. So,
So Norm left. They asked you back?
Well, yeah. Norman left. They asked me if I was interested in doing the show again. Mm-hmm. I said yes, but only if I'm going to be doing it permanently. So they said okay. And that was in 1992.
92 is when
Wow.
that became.
When I actually started permanent.
And then when did you start emceeing the festival?
I don't think I did it in 92, and I might not have done it in 93. 93, I believe what happened was I was at the festival in a tent doing interviews with people as they came off the stage. And then I think Ken Borgers was the MC that year. Then the following year they put me on stage and said, give it a try, kid. See how you do.
In that interim period, who was helping on stage at the festival, if you remember?
Helping on stage?
Yeah, who was the MC? When you were on hiatus, who do you think? Do you remember who they got to help?
Well, in recent years, since it's been K-Jazz, it was Bubba. I'm not sure who they had. After
Between Kalon and K-Jazz.
Yeah, see, because I was working a couple of jobs at the time in 2001, and so I had other income. So that's when I resigned, I still had other income. But then both of those jobs went belly up when 9/11 happened, because I was doing computer installations, and people stopped buying computers because they were laying people off. So that job went south, and then I had another job where I was doing tech support, and wound up losing that for whatever reason. I, spent all night there one night trying to fix things, and by the time morning came, they were worse. So then I had no job, and I went through some real bad times, and I had some health problems, and I almost died, and unfortunately, or for me fortunately, but much to the chagrin of many of my enemies, I didn't die.
Thank God.
So in addition to foot stomping music, the everything that you put on the radio, it's also heart pumping music.
Got to keep your heart pumping.
Heart pumping music here.
Thank you so much for sharing this time. We know we have to cut you loose, but we are hoping, please, to come grace our stage with your presence.
Oh,
for
I'll
the
be there.
festival.
Oh, that's
I'd like to
awesome.
bring you up on stage and love on you, and let everybody else love on you. And
You can love on me all you want.
thank
darling.
you.
Yeah, man.
Yay! And that's
Yeah.
a wrap. That's a wrap.